although it began, as I said, in San Francisco with this killing of a little girl, which he
Yeah.
never spoke to us about. So he was aware enough of himself to know that these things made him the way he was, but he was not remorseful about who he was at all and what he was.
That's fascinating. So never, I was gonna say, so never once, whether it was by phone or by in person meetings with him, um, no sign of the no sign of a hint of remorse at all.
No, his only remorse was he was angry at himself for being caught. That's it.
Yeah, remorse for himself.
Yeah, and again, this was on a religious belief, right or wrong, that he served Satan, he did evil deeds for Satan, and therefore ultimately Satan would reward him. And so I don't forget, I should mention this, that we're zipping ahead into the future. In 2013, I was doing a Buddhist retreat, and I was in my own home, but I wasn't contacting anyone, not talking to anyone, no phone calls, no email, nothing, absolutely nothing. I'd cut off everything and was only meditating and doing certain Buddhist practices. And during this time, when I had no contact with absolutely anyone, I had a very vivid dream that I was in a very clinical white, it looked like a morgue or a school, very desolate, and a mood of horrible, depressing, like, the worst bureaucracy you could imagine. That was the feeling of it. And it was like a very, very clean and white and very brightly, harshly lit with fluorescent lights, like between a morgue and a high school cafeteria.
Okay.
That and a very long line of people, very long, unbelievably long line of people in front of me, going on seemingly for miles. And then Richard was right in front of me, but the younger Richard, not the Richard in his 50s that he was in 2013, the Richard that I had met. And he turned around to me and he said, "Oh man, hey, I figured you'd be down here. I thought I'd meet you down here." And we were in hell. And I knew we really were. We really were. And I knew, well, okay, if you're in hell, you're dead. I knew, I thought that. And I said, I'm not staying. I'm here to try to get you out. And he said, "Oh, that's not going to happen." And then he said, it was very casual, like, "Well, good to see you, man. I figured I'd see you down here." And then he moved like a prisoner, like an institutionalized prisoner, moved along the line and obviously going into hell.
Wow.
And then when my Buddhist retreat was over, I went out and Zena said to me, "Richard died." And I said, "When?" And it was that day.
That's wild.
Yeah. And I have no doubt that was the last time I saw him. It happened. It was real.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Um, One of the questions I had for you, and you've touched upon a few things in regards to how Richard was in front of a camera versus behind the scenes. What are some things about Richard that the media and the public got wrong about him, if there is any?
Um, well, that the media doesn't want to admit that he was performing for the cameras. I mean, he he could. I mean, sure, that was a part of his personality, but he loved the adulation and the groupies and the kind of negative attention he got. He liked the media to describe how horrible he was.
Hmm.
The more negative attention he got, the better. What I would say now, when I met him, he was intelligent. He was reading books, all kinds of books, not just satanic occult books, but all kinds of things. He was intellectually curious. He did have valid critiques of society. I mean, like for instance, he often said, well, what really, when it comes down to it, why are governments allowed to